Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special edition of the Immigrant Magazine Weekly. I'm Pamela Anchang. I want to speak to concerned parents, community leaders, and friends. If you're one of those that's really worried about your child or your friends and family falling into the clutches of the tobacco industry's addiction practices, please, this episode is for you. If you're feeling helpless, I want you to make sure you drop everything and pay attention to what my guest today has to share. He is Mr. Ibrahima Diallo, Project Director of KOLS, Keeping Our Lungs Safe at the African Communities Public Health Coalition. He's going to share with us some of the destructive impact that the tobacco industry has on Black and Brown communities, as well as the alarming new marketing strategies that they have now put in place to target our Black and Brown communities. This is not an episode to miss because it will save your life or the lives of your loved ones. So, but without further ado, I'm going to bring him here, but do me the honor first by clicking on the subscribe button to make sure you're subscribed. And of course, liking us so that YouTube will share this video and ringing the notification bell so you will be notified. Trust me, I know you have a lot of things to do, but this episode is for you. And without further ado, let's welcome Ibrahima Diallo. I want you to tell us a little bit about your background and why you do this work.
My name again is Ibrahima Diallo, and I'm here with the African Communities Public Health Coalition. And my background has actually been in public policy. I work for a nonprofit doing community work, trying to empower communities. As part of this process in my life, I came across the African Coalition, which actually work in the same line of fields for empowering Black and Brown communities, disenfranchised communities. So the issue of tobacco and community empowerment is very important to me. So this is why this is a good fit for me. And I'm a director of the KOLS project, which is the Keep Our Lungs Safe project, which is actually a state California sponsored project. So that's what I'm working right now.
That's wonderful. You know, it's funny, we always think that it's a choice, whether you choose to use tobacco or any kind of substance or not, it's a choice. But we do understand that sometimes they target us. So I want you to tell us how the tobacco industry targets Black and Brown and disenfranchised communities.
Actually, this has been going on for a long time. I would say from the Second World War on, tobacco's, always been, tobacco industry always, pushed on Black and Brown communities. And one of the main ways we're seeing that is that they target them by, with menthol cigarettes, menthol based products such as Camel Crisp, Camel non-menthol so-called product, but in fact, it's still based on the old menthol cigarette that are prohibited under state law. And by keeping those menthol cigarettes, cheap and accessible to poor segment of the population, they definitely will have a market there. And also, as we know, 85% of the Black smokers use menthol cigarettes, because this obviously is a market that the tobacco industry knows how to target, and they've been doing that for so long.
Well, Ibrahima, you know that your work is really cut out for you because the tobacco industry is a gigantic it's just like a Goliath and David kind of uphill battle here. So
Absolutely.
How are you able to target these communities that they are also targeting, and what is your message to them? How are you getting that message across?
Actually, to begin with, the African public health, African Community Public Health Coalition, African Coalition, was created by mental professionals over a decade ago, and to tackle actually the growing number of mental issues facing our communities. The immigrant community, as we know, are isolated, and they're easy target for the tobacco product. And a lot of our, our members in that communities, are easy target. So what the African community has been doing to fight back, we have actually a lot of outreach that we do at the community level. Like for instance, today I just came back from a town hall meeting that we organized with the city of Inglewood uh, to actually give more, power to the community members, to see how we can go ahead and, work on the policy implementations, to reach our assembly member, article senators, to implement, policies that will be, going against, fight back. And also we have, how do you call that? We do also do a lot of work, with communities, non-faith-based communities like churches and mosques, and also at the school level. So we do have programs that every week we go to schools and, in our neighborhood, and, talk to them about, tobacco and tobacco related issues and how they can fight back, how they can, we can actually create stronger communities and, push them back.
I'm glad you talked about policies because, most young people, when they start, in fact, even adults, most adults started using tobacco at a young age. And then by the time they're adults, they're already addicted to it and they can't stop. So, I think that's a great idea. What are your particular strategies really for the youth besides, let's say, schools? Because I think policies are where we're going to hit this. Are there any policies that have already been implemented, that have already been brought forth, and that are actually being implemented right now? Because, schools, yeah, but we need policies that will cut across when they're out of school, like in the summer.
I think one we still, like I said, at the African Coalition, we still didn't give up yet as far as because school is over, so we just kind of pretty much stop our outreaching. We'll still do outreaching with the youth. We still have a lot of how do you call it, schools, that libraries that will come across at the LA public libraries and so on, that we do organize events, activities to still explain to the youth, how, the negative impact on tobacco. I know there's still the vapes that are still being, pushed on them. And that's actually, this summertime is here. So actually they'll be more exposed to it because now there's no more school. So we're still, working and, with the youth at continuously to to let them know that this is something that will obviously is very dangerous for their health and that might hook them for the long term.
Someone told me that vaping is really bad for them because sometimes you tell them don't smoke and they're vaping. I'm glad you mentioned vaping. Can you tell us a little bit about vaping and how the tobacco industry, maybe parents see it and then the children tell them, no, it's good. Not all parents are informed enough to say, no, vaping is just as bad or even worse. So what do you have to tell parents about vaping if they see their children vaping?
Actually, this is actually it's one of the fight that all parents have. I have teenagers myself, so we know that the tobacco companies, just like the tobacco industry, skill creating the misconception that vaping is okay, and when in fact, obviously, the ramification on their health and the long term health of these kids will be catastrophic because they get hooked for a long term for the long term. And so, as far as parents, it's just about educating our children about the dangers of vaping. Knowing that it's not cool to do it. They can, I know there's peer pressure among the kids that are trying to belong, but this is something that at the African Coalition, we just make sure that we really, sensitive, talk to the kids as much as we can, to the youth as much as we can, and to you know turn the tide around.
So, most addictive substances, people can go to recovery places or substance abuse recovery. What do they call these places? Rehabs. Is there any such thing for tobacco? Just curious.
At African Coalition, what we also do work with a lot of tobacco cessations, community organizations, that a lot of experts also we work with that actually do have strategies for people that want to stop smoking. Although we know the tide maybe tend to be 3 times more tobaccos and the incentive out there to push people to do, and maybe just one that they might not know about. And for us, it's just working with a lot of those, communities, love a lot of the experts that we, work with. So they have a lot of tobacco cessation strategies that anybody that want to stop smoking can actually, then have access to through our organization, and we can have the resources for that.
There's something, it's called tobacco cessation. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I just learned something new.
Yes.
So tell me, how can the community help, with what you're doing?
One of them, for us, for sure, we know, like I said, today we just, for instance, we had actually a town hall. Yesterday we were at another faith-based organization. So every time we go, we always tell the community, the best way we can fight back is by joining forces together. So by advocating, so we can implement policies at the local level, at the state level, by reaching out to our assembly members, to our senators, to all the, the policymakers, so they can implement stronger, policies to stop that. But as far as community members, we have the resources here at the African Coalition. So you can go to our website, at www.africancoalition.org, where we have a lot of resources and a lot of, the list of all our upcoming events, activities, where community members can come and join us and learn more about how they can fight back, because we can still fight back and win.
Yes, we can fight back. I always say one life is worth saving,
Exactly.
one at a time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So how is all of this work coming along? Do you have any breakthroughs? Have you had any breakthroughs yet?
For sure, for the past, obviously, we know that, tobacco flavored, it's banned in the state of California, this thanks to, the action of organizations like, that act like us. We work with a lot of, we have a coalition of other organizations that we work with, and together with community members, participation, we manage to push, a lot of tobaccos, industry practices, advertising and so on, products of the market. And this is also a victory for us, because California being one of the most progressive state, in terms of, anti-tobaccos, policies, marketing strategies here in this country. This country, the United States, whenever California win in one area, most all other states tend to follow. And that's why California is important. And we think that here at the African Coalition, with our member organization that we work with, and partners we work with, we're able to, to win some battles. But still, the fight is still going on, and we're not going to give up until the battle's won.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a very enlightening discussion, and I hope that we all take heed, and that people actually pay attention, and we need to save our children and stop them from this craziness and addiction and shortening our children's lifespan.
Absolutely.
You're doing good work. Thank you, and I hope you come back with more and better updates.
Thank you so much, Pamela. I really appreciate having me today, and we're really looking forward to talk to you more in the future regarding our progress and how we can make things go faster. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.